14 years. That's the length of time. It was about September 1997 that I started to recognize the intuitive side of myself. And over the last 14 years, many times, I have been presented with ideas that either appeared risky, impossible, not smart by the world's standards, and questionable to say the least. And an example would have been when I was sitting one night doing some writing, and I had an energy essence present itself to me and say, you need to paint with energy. And you need to let your clients know that that's what you're doing. Now, I want you to remember that I had a very long business career in the corporate world. Seeing an energy essence was one thing, but an energy essence giving me information that I was to paint energy on canvas and let the world know that that's what I did. To say that I was resistant would be an understatement. But this idea followed me around 4 weeks, to the point where I realized that it wasn't going away, that this was persistent, whether it was coming from within me, from my imagination, or from guidance outside of me. It didn't matter where it was coming from, it was persistent. And so here I sit today, partnering with people on the other side, loved ones, others, dead people, whatever you want to call them, in my artwork. And it's been not that long at all, three years, that it's taken me to see the value in what it is I'm doing in partnership with loved ones from the other side. But I have to say that it was a huge leap of faith to listen to that idea that was presented to me. Working with children, basically psychic children, sentient, telepathic children who are mediums like myself at a very early age. For whatever reason, hugely resistant to that idea, and resisted it for years. 4 years resisted it. But the idea never goes away. And one of those ideas, which probably seemed the craziest to me, was the idea of a manifestation contract. And that is the concept that somehow I could work with others to help them achieve, through manifesting, what it is their heart's desire was. And I want to be really clear that there's a difference between what you believe your heart's desire is and what your heart's desire actually is. But when the idea was presented to me, I felt that I had not had enough practice myself in terms of being proficient, and I know that I'm using business language, but that was the world I'm from. Being proficient myself at manifesting in order to help anybody else. And my guide sat me down and said, what if we could prove that you could manifest for yourself and for others in a way that is a win for all? Would you be willing to give that a try? and I had no real good reason not to. If I could create in a way that was a win for all, how could I argue that? And I often think about the times when people will say to me, I've done something wrong, it's not working, I've done something wrong, it's not working. And I want to say to them, have some patience and give yourself some time and practice. I think sometimes the people that work with me have the perception that I woke up one day and as an overachiever had this all under my belt. I have been working with this stuff since I was a young child, and more religiously, consistently, if you will, for the past 14 years. Am I good at what I do? Absolutely. But it's through practice. Lots of practice. And it's through applying it every single day, all day long, in everything that I do. So when people come to me and ask about manifesting, the very first thing I say to them is, are you willing? Are you willing to really listen to what your guidance is telling you? Are you willing to trust in things that seem impossible? Are you willing to believe when everybody around you disbelieves? Can you hold your ground? And I don't know if it works that way for everybody, but I know that in my experience, I have had to have been willing to say, I know what I know. I know what I know. And I know that it looks different, that the picture or the experience or the scenario or the circumstance or the context would argue against what I know, but I know what I know. And the outcome has always served me well.